Howdy y'all, I'm Dave West and I'm the creator of The Civil Spoke. This video is a brief introduction of myself, who I am, and what my vision and dream for The Civil Spoke is and what I hope it'll become. I'm a cyclist. I've ridden BMX, mountain, road, tricks and trials, and I love commuting. And I also hope to get into randonneuring. One of my dreams is to ride the Paris-Brest-Paris. It's a randonneuring ride. I love my bike. I love riding my bike. In fact, here's a little story. When I first started dating my wife, I told her I love riding my bike. And she's like, all right, that's cool. And then one day, I just disappeared. And I really enjoy long distance cycling. And anyway, so I disappeared for, a number of hours. And when I came back, she was like, where did you go? What happened to you? I said, I told you I like to ride my bike. I just put in 55 miles. What? That's crazy. Now, whenever I get up bright and early in the morning and start heading out, she just kisses me goodbye and she asks, how long? Or if she sees me carrying out 3 to 4 water bottles, she goes, oh, you're going for a long one today, aren't you? Not only am I a cyclist, I'm also a teacher. I've been in education for 15 years. I'm an art educator here in Fort Worth, Texas. I work for the Fort Worth Independent School District. The reason I created The Civil Spoke is because I see a lot of new cyclists out there, and my goal is to help them out. Not only do I love teaching, but I also love teaching about cycling. Well, I guess that's the teacher in me. What is the vision for The Civil Spoke? Number one, I want to help out new cyclists. With the onset of COVID-19 and the coronavirus, which isn't going away anytime soon, I see a lot of new people out on their bikes riding around. I'm very happy that people are out riding their bikes. And I've encountered a lot of new cyclists, both on the hike and bike trail here in Fort Worth and on the streets. And even though I'm very happy they're out riding, sometimes the best safety precautions are not being used. So that could result in injury to themselves, to another cyclist, to a motorist, or to a pedestrian. And it's my goal for people to enjoy cycling. The second thing, I want to better equip riders to be able to ride on the road with cars. I want other cyclists to learn how to ride on the road with cars and not feel afraid that they're going to be injured or hurt. There's an author named John Forster. He introduced the idea and the concept of vehicular cycling. He believes that bikes should be considered as vehicles equal to cars, and I disagree with this. They are not the same. There's a number of huge differences. Bikes are powered by man, while cars are powered by an engine. Bikes, you are completely exposed to the elements. Cars, you are insulated. I mean, you are like in a little cage in a car, as opposed to a bicycle, you are exposed to everything. You hear what's going on. You smell things that are going on. It's an entirely different experience than riding in a car. I like the fact that you are exposed to elements and you can look around you and you can hear and you can smell and you know what's going on around you. As opposed to a car, you can crank the radio, turn on your AC. Definitely here in Texas, you're gonna want to turn on the AC. Hot. So in a car, you can crank on the AC, have it blowing on your face. With now that you can even have distractions like your cell phone. We've seen people driving like this. I didn't make you feel any better by telling you I've seen people get on their phones and drive at the same time. And it's incredible what you'll notice whenever you start riding with cars. I'm a better driver because I'm a cyclist and I ride with cars. The third part, really the heart and soul of what created The Civil Spoke, is I want to do reviews of cities and how bikeable a city is. Let me give you another story. So I was in Houston with my wife, and of course I take my bike, and I started riding my bike all around Houston. And I was thinking to myself, man, it'd be really cool if you could do a review of a city via bike, because you see things that you don't see from a car. That whenever you ride a bike, whenever you're riding a bike, you notice small, minute details about the culture of a city, the fabric of a city. You see that in a bike, and you'll notice the fabric of what makes up a city on a bicycle. So I was riding my bike through Houston, and I started thinking to myself, man, it would be really cool if you could travel to different cities and bike them and review them based upon how bikeable they are. Now, there's a term I like to use called traffic culture. I'm pretty sure I'm not the only person who's used this term. Every city has its independent traffic culture. I know in Fort Worth, the traffic culture here towards cycling and how bikeable Fort Worth is they're not exactly welcoming of cyclists, but they don't exactly go out of their way to harm cyclists either. They're like nonchalant towards cyclists. As long as a cyclist is well seen and they're staying to the right of the road, next to the line or to the shoulder, most cars will just gently go around you. 99% of the time, people just go around me, no harm, no foul. That is the culture of traffic in Fort Worth. What I would like to do is to go to different cities and review the traffic culture of that city. I started looking on the internet. I was looking for city reviews on how bikeable a city is. And I came across this website, People for Bikes. I love that website. People for Bikes, y'all are legit. If y'all ever see this, I just want to say thank you for your hard work and dedication. So I came across People for Bikes. And within their website, which by the way is huge, within their website, there's another thing called Places for Bikes. And they actually started gathering data on cities on how bikeable they are. I was thrilled to see this. Man, they gathered a ton of data on over 400 cities. I think it's even more than 400. I think it's like 600, lots of them. So I started looking at this list. I know from my city that they scored really low. Now, granted, it is Texas, and it's not exactly the best place to bike. I mean, it's not Boulder or it's not Portland. I don't think Fort Worth is that bad. So I thought to myself, you know, I bet there's a discrepancy between how people feel about cycling in a city and how bikeable a city is and what the data says. Now, no one can argue with data. I'm not trying to argue with data, but there's definitely a difference between how someone feels and what data reflects. And being an educator, how a student feels in a classroom will dramatically affect how well they perform in a class. So if a citizen feels like they can ride their bike in the city, they're actually going to start riding their bike in the city. What I wanted to do is I wanted to start going out and seeing people ride their bikes in the city and see how the traffic culture accommodates cyclists. My goal is to use the same 5 tools of measurement that People for Bikes use for their city rating system: ridership, safety, network, reach, acceleration. I love these 5 tools of measurement that People for Bike have used to start creating that city rating system. But at the same time, if no one feels like it's safe, and if no one feels like the city accommodates cyclists, or if the traffic culture of the city accommodates cyclists, no one's going to get out there and ride. The Civil Spoke, 3 parts: information for newer cyclists and maybe even older cyclists, whoever, like if you watch the video and you're like, oh wow, I didn't know that. I know I've watched a lot of videos. Second part, my goal is to equip cyclists to better ride on the road with cars. And part number 3 is I want to start doing city reviews based upon People for Bikes review system. I really hope to create a community of cyclists that will be able to support each other and to help each other out. All right, I think that's pretty much it. If you want to watch more of my videos, subscribe. If you want to leave me a comment, you can leave me a comment. Dave, your videos are awesome. Thanks. Or if you want to say, Dave, I like your garage, you can do that too. Be safe out there. Adios.